Hello and welcome to Cast and Risty Productions. Today is going to be the second episode of the ATC 110, and today I'm just going to be doing miscellaneous stuff to get this thing ready before we get parts for the engine, and just getting this thing ready to put the engine back in it. So we'll get right into it. First, I'm going to clean up in all of this bay of all this gunk and clean up the magneto. I'll give it a good spray here. Get all the gunk out of it. Okay, now that I got the inside all cleaned up, I'm going to clean this magneto off, and then we'll be good to go. I got the magneto and everything all clean now, so now I'll just move on to cleaning this outer. I got the outer clean, so now I'm going to move on to down here. Progress update. I got it mostly cleaned up now. I got all of this cleaned up and all the body cleaned up and here cleaned up. Hello. It is a couple days later now, and as you can see, I got a couple tires on it. This back tire does still not hold any air, so that one is not on there yet, but I will try to get it on later here. But for now, I'm just going to be going through some stuff. First, I'm going to try to remount the front headlight. I was looking through the back of this headlight when I found that the wires in there are just loose. So I popped it off and seen that from where the switch was, the wires were cut and the switch does not work, it just spins. So I might have to get a different switch and reattach some wires. But for now, I'm just gonna have to put it back together. Well, we'll take the light back off later, but for now it doesn't look too bad on there. Now I'm going to start re-putting back on the old recoil for this machine. It did work before, so it should work. And first I gotta get this bracket on. Unfortunately, this last bolt stripped out in there, but it should be fine because the two hold it on pretty good. So now we can put the recoil on. So we fixed this recoil and it works now, but we need a gasket to put in between it. So right now we'll have to take it back off later, so we cannot tighten it up very much. This is it pushed in with quite a bit of pressure here, so we'll definitely need a big gasket for it. I forgot that under here that this goes on here, so I'm gonna have to take this back off and put this on. Got this thing all cleaned up, so now it's ready to just sit on here. We got this thing back on now, so now we can put it together like we did before. We got the recoil on now, and everything seems to be working right, and it retracts and everything like normal. Now I'm gonna start cleaning and going through these parts of the carburetor. I got some juice in the carburetor, the bottom half of it here, to hopefully clear up some of the dried up gas. We'll let it sit for a while. Okay, I've let this sit here for a while, so now I'm gonna dump it back in and see if that made a difference. I got the bottom half cleaned up for the most part, a lot better than it was before. Now I'm going to clean the shutoff switch and clean all these holes out and make sure they flow air and fuel fine. I got the fuel shutoff to move air from both of these and it to work perfectly, but I'm gonna take it back apart because this is put on backwards and it should be like this. Now I got the fuel reserve back how it should be, so now I should be able to start working on the top half of the carburetor. First, I'm gonna pull the needle and seat out to get the top float out. Now I got the needle out, so the float should now just be able to pop right out. I don't know if you see, but there's a ton of dried up gas in here. So I'm gonna get all if I can with a screwdriver, and then I'm probably gonna let this sit overnight with some juice in it. Okay, I got the top half of the carburetor as clean as I can. So now I'm gonna open up this and make sure it has no gunk in it. I got this plug off, so now I'm gonna try to clean in there and make sure that hole does not have any corrosion in there. I got this hole cleaned out, and now it blows air perfectly fine. So I'm gonna put the cap back on, and then we'll be good to go. Now, since I got the bottom and top half of the carburetor cleaned, I'm going to take them to the air compressor and blow them out with some air to make sure all the dried up gas is left. I got the bottom and top half of the carburetor all blown out. So now I should be able to start working on the float needle and seat on the top half. Okay, I've been working this float for a while and now it's pretty good. So I am going to put the bottom half of the carburetor back on. All right, the carburetor is all put together and ready to go now. I could not get the gear shifter on, so we're gonna have to weld that on later. But for now, I just clamped a really tight vice grip onto it, and it seems to move just fine. It moves the gears just fine. Okay, that will be all for today. We'll see you in the next video.